All right, we here live, man. We are live right now. But yeah,
I
so she,
I
yeah,
got
she
got
just.
him, folks. I got him, folks. So yeah.
What's good? What's good, everybody, man? How y'all doing out there, man? I'm Gigi. You already know who I am, man. No theatrics today. Just getting down with the get down. Shout out to Adrian Kapoy, Samuel Isaacs, Mr. Suge, to you, Andre 416, Reform, Milton Patton, Barry Little. Shout out to Barry Little, man. I ain't seen you in a minute. Barry Little says, where else can black men express themselves freely? Straight up, no chases. Like, share, subscribe, donate, become a member. I second that emotion. Thank you, man. Straight up, man. For real. Also, shout out to AM Autistic Males. It says, salute, GG. I'm listening. Salute. Respects due, GG in chat. Salute. AL Evans. Shout out to you, man. Salute. Toya the Tutors. Salute to you. PK Angel. Salute to you. Indigo Flow, shout out to you. PK Angel, shout out to the for the super sticker, man. Appreciate that, bro. Mrs. KP Bailey, how you doing? Jeffrey Massey, I'm listening. Al Smooth as Butter, Nub Glory, Hurricane Greg, what's happening with you, man? LXST, Old School Swole. Hey, man, I'm still waiting to see your video, man, where you did your 15 to 20 pull-ups, man. I'm still waiting to see that, man. I'm still waiting to see that, man. Anyway, shout out to Seth's son, Thunderbolt Johnson, Aaron Smith, Tyrone Bixby, Miguelito, 69, Detro 0861, Red Falls Blacks, Ronan 76, Jeremiah Wins, and Damian H. Shout out to him. Adrian Kapoy, shout out to him, man. Appreciate that, man. So yeah, I mean, I've been making this transition. I'm in St. Louis, man, and man, do you know it's some crazy shit going on in this neighborhood, bro?
I heard about the Lou, man. I heard about the Lou, man. It's all over the city. It ain't just in your area. I heard about the Lou, man.
Man, bruh. So the cats next door got kicked in today. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so we looking out of the back window. You know, I'm looking out the back window, like, why are these cars parked out here? Near my backyard driveway. Like, what's going on out here?
Okay.
And it's two, like, unmarked cars. It was a Equinox and some other kind of vehicle. I don't know what it was. Then there was police cars out front. So, you know, when they come in all directions. It's omnidirectional. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
But it was no noise. Usually there's some sort of noise associated with it, especially if they got a battering ram or something like that.
Yeah, yep.
But, man, I've been seeing some ungodly shit, man. I ain't gonna lie.
hey, just say to yourself, ain't no place like home. Ain't no place
man,
like home.
Man, I'm trying to get in this house and out of this house, man. The quicker I can fix this house up, man, the quicker I'm gonna get the fuck up out of it. You know what I mean? But I have to be here because I know what'll happen to this house if I leave it unattended, unoccupied.
They'll strip it dry, they'll strip it bare, yeah.
So even though, like, recently I tried to explain to people, man, that I had some people staying here and they basically fucking tore the crib up, man. So it is what it is, man. I can't complain. But right now, you know, I've been trying to process the transition, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like a fish out of water trying to get acclimated back to being around a bunch of savages and shit like that, man. I'm here. Because I was basically around a bunch of white folks, man. And, you know, the people would wave at you when you drive down the street and shit like that. That ain't happening here, man.
Well, the things you got to get the hood instincts come back really quickly, man, when you're in the environment. So,
yeah, man. So they came back quick, man. I gotta be.
Like,
I'm harsh now, man. I hate to say that, man, but like I gotta be able to compartmentalize that and to put that on the back burner because there's bigger issues at hand, man. So shout out to everybody, man. This supporting me. Andre 4L, thank you, man, for the Cash App. Adrian Kapoy, thank you. Damien H, thank you. And PK Angel, thank you. So at any rate, man, I just wanted to I know you requested me to come on and to have a conversation about this, you know.
Wait, it's your idea, man. So basically, I want you to flesh it out, man. I think there's a book in this, man. I really do.
Yeah, so I think before a book, it should be a paper or something of that nature.
Yeah.
But, you know, all I tried to do was to point out, like, we live in an era where the dynamics of race, gender, and your social status, they kind of converge in complex ways and subtle ways as well. And so one of the arenas where these convergences are most visible is in the realm of romantic relationships. And the piece that I didn't think about was the online dating piece that you sent me a video about today.
Yeah. Yes. What do you think about that?
I thought it was informative, and I think it kind of supported the theory of racial hypergamy, if you ask me.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, and look, so basically, racial hypergamy is a theory that describes a pattern where outgroup women strategically connect themselves with the members of a more dominant racial group for access to better opportunities, for better resources, and for a better social standing.
Yeah.
And the important thing to understand about all of this is not just about personal preferences or individual choices in romantic relationships. It's about understanding why the choices are made in a broader framework of social hierarchy and power dynamics.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to do when I thought of it. So, as you know, the theory is kind of combined and intertwined with principles of social dominance theory and the subordinate male target hypothesis, which was developed by Jim Sedanius and Felicia Prado. So, I mean, basically, social dominance theory says, look, societies are structured into hierarchies, and some groups within those hierarchies have more power and resources than the others. Yeah. Okay?
Go ahead and read your money, man. Go ahead and read your money.
Okay, my bad. I can't see right now.
Okay,
so shout out to J Miles for the super sticker. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. Shout out to Passport OG. What's good with you, bro? How you doing, man? Shout out to Dar. Peace out to you, brother, man. Appreciate y'all, man. And I don't know if anybody hit me on the Cash App, but if they have, man, I appreciate y'all.
Okay, we'll get to them. So go ahead. You know.
So at any rate, yeah. So it's based on social dominance theory and the subordinate male target hypothesis, right? And so what I was saying is that social dominance theory says like society is basically structured in a hierarchy. Some people have more power than other people,
right?
And the way the hierarchies are maintained is through a bunch of social mechanisms, right? Like it could be individual attitudes, it could be institutional policies. So what I try to do is to show like also that the subordinate male target hypothesis further refines social dominance theory by highlighting the specific challenges that like outgroup men face in the context of systemic discrimination and misandric aggression. Because I don't know if you know, but I know you know, but I don't know if the people out there know that racism, you know, black male study scholars, for the most part, argue is a form of misandric aggression. We think that like there's a flat blackness and that everybody's treated the same way according to racial animus, but what we find is, especially according to the subordinate male target hypothesis, is that black men get the worst of the worst when it comes to racial aggression,
and it shows up in all the stats. You know.
Yeah, for sure. So what I try to do is to basically demonstrate how racial hypergamy manifests in the modern landscape. And again, it's supported by like empirical data from online dating.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's not just a theoretical exercise or academic exercise. It's a theory that provides insights into social stratification and the convergence of race and gender in ways that are unexpected. Okay.
Yeah.
So, again, like I said before, social dominance theory was developed by Jim Sedanius and Felicia Prado, and it basically says societies are basically arranged in a hierarchy. Some people have more power than others. Again, like I said on the video, I know this is kind of overkill and like repetition, but you have individual discrimination, right? You have institutional discrimination, and you have something called behavioral asymmetry, right?
Okay.
And it highlights that dominant groups, huh?
Explain the
So, okay, so behavioral asymmetry basically highlights that dominant groups are more often influential in shaping the values of a society. So what they want goes. What they like gets pushed to the fore, okay? But this leads to this concept of social dominance orientation. Like, where do you fit into the scheme, and like, what are your attitudes, your feelings, and the values that you hold related to the dominance hierarchy? Okay. So if you have, so this is just like basic social dominance theory. Like, there's something called SDO, which is social dominance orientation, which basically, if you have a high level of it, you're going to engage in behaviors that endorse policies that maintain the hierarchy. So, you know, you might be wearing a white hood. you feel me?
I feel you.
Right. Or you might kind of just promote and, you know, kind of embody the norms associated with the way the hierarchy falls. And this is it's important for people to understand this is not just about American culture. This is like a global theory. Okay.
Yes. It's shit all over. Yes. And yeah. A white boy goes to handle women in Kenya. Okay. It's global. Yeah.
So, again, the subordinate male target hypothesis, it specifically addresses the dynamics of gender because it just says that societal aggression and discrimination are disproportionately targeted towards males from lower status groups, right? Mm-hmm. And this hypothesis is grounded in the observation that males, particularly those belonging to subordinate groups, they're perceived as the greater threat to society. Like, nobody's really scared of women.
No.
This is what kind of confuses me when, like, a lot of black women begin to say that, like, we're going to change things, we're on the move, we're progressing forward. And the question is, like, in what way? Like, I mean, all you're doing is reifying or calcifying the status quo. You can't change. Women, and that's why I asked the question to Dr. Tia San Johnson on the show. Right. When have you ever seen any society in which a group of women from inside of it have been able to just basically alter the entire structure of it? Except for, I mean, with contemporary feminism, maybe.
Well, the thing, the social contract is actually done by men. And they just glommed onto the social contract that was already there. So men started it, right? It was men that started feminism. Really, they actually invented it for the most part.
I agree. I think men are the ones that create political institutions, economic institutions to begin with. Like, I mean, that's just my view. Like, name for me a society in which women have, for the most part, created legislatures, judgeships. I'm not saying that there aren't any. I'm just saying, name for me those. I mean, it's possible that they have existed. I'm just saying, name for me those cultures in which the women have, like, created political institutions where they kind of, like, regulate and develop laws and norms and shit like that. I'm pretty sure that there are some, but I'm like, there aren't many. Okay, so I'm not knocking women for this. I'm just talking about what the facts are, right?
Right.
And no, this is why women are not perceived as threats. They don't have the ability to, by and large, threaten men with violence, and that's how men basically overthrow each other and their cultures. They do so with violence.
Right. They do.
I would take this as a given, right? So how is hypergamy? Racial hypergamy linked to the subordinate male target hypothesis, and how is it linked to social dominance theory in general? And so basically I'll say this. It's a strategic adaptation by outgroup women in response to the social hierarchies that they see themselves entrenched in. Okay? And by aligning with in-group members, particularly males from more dominant racial groups, these women seek to navigate and potentially monkey branch or ascend within these hierarchies.
Yeah, we see that all the time, don't we?
Right. Now, so it's not merely about personal or romantic preferences, but it is deeply embedded in the social fabric, right? And it's influenced by the dynamics of power and oppression. Now, I haven't had the opportunity to see all of the video of that young lady that you were talking about. I just, with the hijab, the black woman.
Yes.
I didn't have the opportunity to look at that all the way through, but I mean, I think everywhere you look, you'll see a confirmation of this kind of thought,
Yeah.
or this kind of theory. That's just my opinion, right? Because I do believe it to be true, although it can be falsified. It's open for falsification.
That's
okay?
why I call it the Holy Grail, man. You know, you nailed it.
Now I say that because of the subordinate male target hypothesis, right, outgroup men are less able to engage in a similar form of strategic alignment.
Yeah.
Through sex and romantic relationships. Although I understand, you know, the idea that there is a way to do that through romantic relationships, I don't think that you can. Because the way that men tackle or confront enemies and the way they deal with power is they engage it directly. They don't. I just don't see men being indirectly able to circumvent racial aggression.
It's either to do with force or finance, one of the two.
So, whereas women don't really want to change the structure, most men want to have a structure that they've created of their own. They don't want to they don't want to nest in somebody else's house. They want to build a house and have dominion over the house, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Of course, they want freedom. Men want power, right?
I would assume so.
Yeah, and women want access to power.
Yes.
That's
So,
the difference.
because, you know, like the puppet master, they can kind of move men in certain kind of ways and make them do things for them, right?
Right.
So ultimately what I'm trying to say is that given men's position, they don't really have the opportunity to be hypergamous like women can, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm just saying it's unlikely, okay?
Yeah.
So then let's just get to the empirical evidence, man. So what I did was I did watch a good chunk of the video that you sent me with Jennifer Lundquist.
Yes.
And they wrote a book called The Dating Divide.
Right.
Race and Desire in the Era of Online Romance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what it did was it revealed that all women,
yes. Yeah, all of them.
all women, whether they're Asian, Latino, or black,
yes,
they were more likely to prefer contact with white men than men from any other racial group.
Boom, right?
Including their own.
Boom, right?
Boom. I'm not going to use any theatrics right now, but that.
Yeah, we need a what is it? A cluster bomb on that one, though.
But right now I got something going on with my system. I can't figure out why. Let me see if I can get this thing to activate.
Don't worry
man.
about it, man. Just keep going, man. Don't worry about it, man. This is dope. This is straight dope right now. So
yeah, I wonder why I'm not. For some reason, this shit ain't, it ain't accessing certain videos or something like that. I don't know why.
We'll work it
Every
out.
time, man, you install a new operating system, you got a whole bunch of shit you got to deal with, man. Every time, man. So yeah, all women from all groups. So the important thing for black men to take away from this, I would gather, they ain't the only ones that got to deal with racial hypergamy. But I mean, it's a little more pronounced with us precisely because of the shit that we went through, the ordeal of slavery, the emancipation, from the conditions related to Jim Crow, the civil rights struggle, thinking that like we're working together to overcome these obstacles.
Yeah.
And then you have to face the reality that, nah, player. No, player, you thinking this is like the team, like, you know, the dream team, but it ain't really like that. It ain't right. It ain't really like you think it is. You know,
no, it ain't what you think it is, right? Yeah.
It's not what you think it is. So it's like basically they prefer, all women, Asian, Latinos, blacks, they prefer contact with white men more than men from any other racial group, including their own. Their own comes second.
Yes.
Okay. So this pattern, to me, this is empirical facts, right, from this book, right?
Yeah.
And this pattern of preferences aligns with the concept of racial hypergamy. Now, although I just made the connection today, okay, but it does. Yeah. Where, you know, aligning with a more socially dominant, in this case, white group, could be seen as a strategy to monkey branch or to like climb within the social hierarchy. So what are black women's dating preferences? We already know they got the same preferences as all other women.
Right.
But it's more complex because although black women also prefer white men over men in their own racial group, right? A study by the dating site OkCupid found that black women were the least likely group to receive responses from men of other races.
Yeah.
But they were also the most likely to respond to messages from men of different racial backgrounds.
Yeah, they were.
So, on the one hand, they're disliked the most, the least desirable, but the most open.
Yes.
Which, you know, it's kind of that's a tragic situation to be in. It's almost like a position of someone in desperation. Pick me. They say that's the ultimate pick me situation. Please pick me. Nobody wants me. Pick me. Okay. So both of these data points suggest a willingness on the part of black women to engage in interracial relationships as a form of racial hypergamy. Yeah. But the lower response rates are reflective of systemic challenges and racism, anti-black racism. They're also subjected to it.
Yes.
So the odd thing is they think they can overcome it through romance and through relationships, but still, you know, they get smacked in the face with reality that, like, nobody likes Negroes.
Because they're attached to the lower caste of the hierarchy. And I think because I actually was looking at a page that you sent me about Fanon, right?
Yeah.
What he said is that even though the white man actually loves the lower caste woman, he can't get respect for her. She's not actually respectable. Actually a respectable mate for him. So they can't get respect from him. So go ahead.
Here's the deal. White men will fuck black women.
Yes.
They'll fuck all women.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean they're going to wife you.
No.
There's a difference between getting wifed up and getting knifed up.
In other words, a black women are actually low status females, according to white men.
Of course. I mean, look, I was talking to you last night about this, man.
Yes.
It ain't no strange secret. The white men been digging out black women from the beginning, man. Even when they were slaves, man.
Yeah, that's what they brought here for. Yeah.
They've been depositing seed in black women for quite a bit of time.
Yes. Sally Hemings, anybody? Yeah.
But it's a difference between somebody having a physical, erotic encounter with you and somebody deciding to take on an ethical and a social and a legal, you know, contract with you. That's a whole different type of relationship. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, as opposed to just a base and a hackneyed sexual relationship. So, I mean, just face it, man. How many women have you smashed that you wouldn't marry, man?
We ain't going there, Doc.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, I'm not even trying to be ignorant by saying that.
I know, but we ain't going there. There's too many to count. But But what did Bill Hooks say about racism? Right, racism is actually defined by white men not marrying black women. That's how she defined racism.
There's a kind of truth to that, though. There's a kind of truth to that.
Well, speak on it, Doc. That's why we here.
Well, I mean, endogamy, like, again, man, the social white men do not respect black women as social equals.
That's true. That's what Fanon was saying. Yeah,
and they don't perceive them as being the group of women to carry forth their own kith and kin.
Yes, exactly.
Now, I'm not trying to be ignorant by saying this.
But they will produce bastards. The king used to do that. Yeah, they'll produce bastards that can't that actually don't accept. They will.
I mean, every girl you smashing, like, it's dudes right now that are smashing chick, man, and get her pregnant, and he don't care about the kids, right?
Yeah. Remember the old term about redhead stepchild?
Yeah.
In other words, master would smash your wife, okay, get her pregnant, and you had to raise it.
Man, that's the hell of it, man. That's the ultimate cuck position, man.
Yeah, and an older woman, actually, my older female mentor told me about that, where it was common for the landowner to come fuck your wife, and you come home out of the fields, and he's patting you on the shoulder, that like saying that's some good pussy, and walking off.
Oh wow, that's crazy, man.
Oh yes, but they won't tell you about that.
Oh wow.
Black women will not tell you about that. They talk about the grandpa's family across town, but they won't tell you about that shit. Anyhow,
Wow, that's got to be a crusher right there.
But guess what? Guess what black men did? They raised their kid. They raised their child.
Yeah. But still, though, god damn, that's just thinking about that, man, kind of hurts my heart. But anyway, having said all that, let's get to Latina women, right?
Go ahead.
So
jump in.
They also have the same preferences as Asian and black women, right? They prefer to date white men over their own ethnic group, and it is a form. One could interpret it as a form of racial hypergamy.
Okay.
Where they perceive relationships with white men as a way to gain social status or to align with the more dominant racial group. In this instance, white women, right? So overall, like, all of these women, man, the patterns observed by all of these women suggest that they all exhibit preferences that align with the concept of racial hypergamy. It's just what they do, okay? Now, I'm not saying that every last single woman in every last racial group is racially hypergamous or that exhibit these qualities, but enough of them do for us to make the general assessment that this is a for the most part, a real form of strategy and a real form of action amongst outgroup women in order to basically climb up or to gain some semblance of social status in a hierarchical structure that's pretty much, oppressive and dominating. So, are there limitations to it? Yes. But, I have to work that out if I really actually do a paper on this and present it to an academic audience, because they're not going to accept just some, fuck these hoes. These bitches ain't shit. I told you they was traitors.
I can get Edward to do that. Okay, we need with the PhD. Okay,
I'm just saying. Look, it's levels to this shit.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, there are times and instances in which I get gutter myself, but you have to be able to move in and out of different levels of presentation, thought. I can go in and out of different levels. Yeah. Not everybody has the ability to move like that.
The thing we need at the level of change. Okay, down here's not the level of change. Up where you need to go is the level of change, right? As you go through the door of light,
right? For sure.
Like Neo did. That's where change happens.
I can try, man. You know what I'm saying? I can make an attempt. The The forces of the agents, man. The forces of the agents, man. They work hard as hell, man.
Yeah, but they won't see you coming though. That's the issue. They won't see you coming.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah. They have no idea what this is. This is new to them.
But let's talk to Fanon. Let's talk about Fanon though, because
Yeah.
I don't want to get into any details about it, but just know that like I think it's chapter 3 of Black Skin, White Mask,
Right.
where Fanon begins to talk about inferiority complexes that exist within black folks in white dominated societies.
Okay.
Right? And this can be used to understand the dating preferences and social aspirations of minority women or outgroup women in Western society. So he basically says, look, amongst these women, there is a desire for proximity to whiteness.
Say it again, black man.
The desire for proximity to whiteness, or what Fanon would call whiteness as social capital. So he says, this can manifest in various forms, from self-mutilation, skin lightening, hair straightening. I mean, but it also can manifest in dating preferences.
Okay.
And the social aspirations of minority women. So, but ultimately, like this whiteness as social capital is particularly relevant, right? Because it's a hell of a drug, man, to want to be something that you can't be.
The myth of white womanhood.
But you think you can attain it by becoming involved in a romantic relationship with somebody from the opposite race.
That's what Bill Hook said.
But here's the catch.
Okay.
Like, I mean, basically, Fanon says that like this is not what love inheres in. Like, if your love is predicated upon your desire to be close to whiteness, then you don't really even love that motherfucker. Like, if I was a white dude, I'd be like, why are these bitches talking about dating me? It's like black men, like Kevin Samuels, like, why would a man pick you?
Yes.
Because what all you trying to do is get close to this motherfucker so you can get his bread and get like close to his social status. And it's one thing.
Guess who's saying that? White men, lower caste or lower economic caste, white men are actually saying that about black women.
It's like you ain't trying. You only trying to get me for my dividends, like 3 times dope back in the old days. You just trying to use me. Thought I was a donut. You trying to glaze me up. So I mean, at the end of the day, this is the case for all women, though. I mean, it's not just black women, right? So Asian women, they want to get close to whiteness. Latina women want to get close to whiteness.
Right.
So it ain't just black women, but black women have it particularly hard because they're the least desirable of all the women.
Yeah, and Asians actually marry out almost twice the number of their males, right? Okay.
And that's crazy.
Because white men actually prefer Asian women second to their own.
And that's also interesting because, like, when I looked at the video, I have to read that book, but I looked at the video of the woman, Jennifer Lundquist.
Right.
And she basically said that the desirability for white women is not there. It's not as present as it is for that of white men.
No, it's not. Yeah.
So people don't want white women as much as, like men don't want white women as much as all women want white men.
White men. And because the men will prefer their own women in their own group normally first.
Especially white men.
Especially white men, yeah.
Okay. And there's a reason for that. They trying to reproduce versions of themselves or what they perceive to be versions of themselves. And they can't do that by, using the wombs of outgroup women. I'm sorry, ladies.
Yeah.
Divestors, I'm sorry. They're not looking at you as the place to reproduce.
Let me throw this at you. Are women try to reproduce an ideal rather than a version of themselves?
I think they're not thinking long term. I think what women are doing is trying to use, because women just think about like what is immediate and what would make them comfortable right now.
Okay.
And what kind of man can they get right now? Because they're under a biological clock. Like time is ticking.
Right.
So they're looking to find what they can do to get the best sperm right then and there.
To give their offspring an advantage in that environment.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the ways to do this is through racial hypergamy. I mean, it just stands to reason these motherfuckers got more resources and social capital than anybody else. Yes. So those are the men that I'm going to want to, mate with in order to make sure that my child is fit. Okay. But here's the problem though. The issue is that unless, by off chance, and it is possible genetically that like a black woman can give birth to a white baby. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Okay. But in all likelihood, because of the racial legal descriptions of what blackness is and what's not, doesn't matter, man. If all that you had to do was be biracial, you know how many biracial babies there were during slavery? Guess what they were called?
What? Niggas.
Niggas. I'm not trying to be ignorant by saying this.
They were.
They were called niggas. Mm-hmm. Okay? The one drop rule applied.
Yeah.
So this is not a matter of me trying to dissuade, discourage. I'm just saying, here are the realities. Now, but women are operating under biological imperatives when it comes to mating and dating.
Yeah.
Okay? These are the facts. I'm not trying to be ignorant by saying this. They have biological imperatives, which maybe even they don't know about, that, like kind of move them in different directions to kind of compel them to act in specific kind of ways. But the tragedy is that this strategy won't work related to the social dominance hierarchy which they exist in. So it's like a strategy that they want to employ, but it's just a strategy that can't work.
Well, they're compelled by biology to actually do it. That's the thing. It's biology that they're working with.
But it can't work.
It doesn't matter because they're compelled.
Yeah, but it just won't work. So that's the tragedy. That's the tragedy of the swirler.
Yes.
Okay. And I said it's like the mulatto. It's like the tragic mulatto situation. It's like they want to, and give Jay Cleveland Green my Cash App, man. I saw that flash up on the screen.
Oh, he's a member. Yeah, he's a member. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. My bad. Yeah. Let him know.
Yeah. Basically, you can't get this any place. This is actually bleeding edge theory. Okay. That's why I asked him to explain this.
But nobody wants to talk about this shit, though.
Of course they don't. Of course they don't. Except us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it answers a lot of stuff.
What's up, Nooster? What's up, Dog Roo?
And Dr. T, I emailed you the link if you want to come up.
Yeah, come up, Dr. T, man. Speak to me, man. I ain't talked to you in a minute, man. But at any rate, like let me just try to conclude this, because we don't have to be doing this all night, man.
It's on you, man. Whatever. I'm here.
But the key points, and maybe we can invite some other people to come along and talk as well if they desire to do so. But summary of the key points, man. Social dominance theory lays the groundwork for understanding hierarchies in societies.
Right. Okay.
And the subordinate male target hypothesis specifically highlights the challenges that are faced by outgroup men.
Yes.
But the empirical data from online dating platforms revealed patterns that align with the concept of racial hypergamy.
That's why it's the holy grail, sir.
And it suggests that outgroup women are looking for a strategic alignment with more socially dominant racial groups, in particular the men. Okay, but case studies through the heuristics of Fanon, they show us that societal norms and psychological underpinnings, especially those with like self or imposed or internalized inferiority, they have an influence on your personal and your romantic decisions, and they complicate the narrative of racial hypergamy, right? So, ultimately, it's not just an academic exercise. it's not just some manosphere, I hate these hoes shit. It's a descriptive theory that explains how women actually act in the world to attempt or to put forth an effort to move up the dominance hierarchy themselves through sex.
And when they can't, guess who they take their frustrations out on?
Just Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault, man. It's always Jermaine's fault, man. It's always Jermaine, man.
Always Jermaine's fault.
Always, man. You know? So, let's put this invite out here, man, where other people can come out, man, if they want to. And, you know, converse about it, ask questions if you want to ask questions about it. But I think more than anything else, this is like a reality check for black men. Because we already know women, like the Divesta crowd are really just speaking the truth, their truth.
Yeah.
Okay? I think it's tragic because I don't think that their strategy actually is going to be able to upend.
It doesn't even work for them because guess what? The men that they want don't want them. That's the problem.
And that's man, to be wanted but to not be wanted. Yeah. That's the problem of recognition. Okay. Yeah. Now, black men don't have an issue.
No.
With black women. All men typically prefer their own race of women first.
Yes.
Typically. I mean, that's just how the game goes. Yeah. Most men want to marry and have children with their own race first.
Yeah.
Women are the only group of people who don't give a fuck about race as much as they care about fucking with that nigga or that cracker in this instance, which
is why we get the black tax for black men, right? I think the white woman said black men start on the whole because we have to be better than the white man to get their attention.
Right. And look, Urban Reed says I sound hurt by this. I'm really not hurt at all. It's tragic though. To me, it's comical almost in a sense. It's isn't it ironic? It's ironic to me, man. This shit is ironic. We have somebody who came up to the stage. His name is, or her name is S. What's going on?
Mute.
Hey, I was just letting you know, go ahead and check the U.S. Supreme Court and Pew Research studies. If black women weren't getting married out, we wouldn't be marrying out at over 12% as of 2013.
It's not 12%. It's not even close.
No, it is 12%, sweetie. I just checked it. It's on the U.S. Supreme Court.gov and also census.gov.
We check. It's only 7%.
No, I just checked it just now. I have it saved in my bookmark.
Black demographic.
No, sweetie, go to U.S. Supreme Court.gov and census.gov.
No.
Okay, let me ask the question.
Oh, you hate to hear it, you guys, but it's the truth.
Let me ask the question. Okay, so like, what is the data supposed to be inferring? What are we supposed to be inferring? What are the implications of the data?
Well, I was just letting you know that as of 2013 and 14, black women were marrying out over 12%. So it's 2023 going on to 24. Imagine what the numbers are now, because I don't know where you guys live, maybe in the ghetto or something, but I live in a very diversified city.
What does that have to do with the price? What, in a concise fashion?
Because I just caught the tail end. I didn't catch the whole live, but I'm sorry?
What does the data allude to? What point are you making by presenting that data? What does it mean in the larger context of the conversation?
Because you're saying that we can't get white guys. We can't get white guys. I mean, come on, white guys are some of the easiest guys to get. Black women have played it hard to get for the longest, and now we've given them the green light. Bunk. So it's not hard from this point on, sweetie. That's all I'm letting you know.
Bunk.
I just left the gym, so I'm kind of like out of breath.
That's cool. But let me just articulate. All I'm trying to do is just say this: it's 12% of black women being able to date white guys or marry white guys is not an indication that overall black women are desired or the most desired
well, it's not
partners
that we don't
for
need to
black
be
women.
desired by all white men.
Hey, 2021, okay?
We just need one.
2021, 7%, baby.
No. You're looking at black
No.
demographics. Go to U.S. Supreme Court
Nah,
gov and
nah.
census.gov and Pew Research Studies.
They use the census, baby.
No.
Yes,
Stop being lazy. Stop being lazy
no,
and go check for yourself, because what I'm seeing is something totally different. I'm so sorry.
No.
I'm so sorry. Revolt TV just did a documentary about it, and Puppy owns that. So
census 2020. That's where they
no.
Yes,
There's not a new census for interracial marriage.
2020.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not, sweetie. I know that you don't like to hear the truth.
No.
You don't like to hear the truth. I know. It hurts, doesn't
This is
it?
entertaining shit, man.
Hey, sweetie, put the link in the back chat, baby. That's why I have a back chat.
But what I'm trying to tell you, no, I'm in the car right now. I'm sitting outside of my gym.
Bunk. Go ahead. Who's next? Go ahead. We're not putting up with this.
On behalf of the Jermaine's and the Dusty Dancing Club members, I just want to say, gentlemen, I'm so proud of y'all. You, BGS, Green Gorilla, and Dr. Kearson Johnson, y'all like a three-headed monster. Keep attacking them with the facts, the logic, and the statistics. We go break it. No, to you. You're wrong, man. They're right.
Don't worry about her. Okay.
I just wanted to come up real quick. Peace, man. Hashtag respect the brotherhood. G with the PhD. Green Gorilla, I appreciate all your work. BGS, salute, sir. It's an honor to be amongst you brothers. BGS, I sent you a very short video, a 6-second and a 16-second video. I recorded about 2 summers ago. Pardon my R2D2 chatbot. He's chatting, artificial intelligence. I recorded a short video of a B-dub in the wilderness. And in the video, 16-second clip, but you got to break it down in slow motion. She's got this blonde wig on. And as she sees this elderly white man approach her, she does this little attention-getting dance, seeking the attention and approval of white Zaddy. And as he approaches, you can see, if you slow it down to frames, they do this acknowledgement. There's this brief exchange between the two, an elderly white guy, a 20-something-year-old B-dub in a blonde wig. And they do this little exchange where she seeks his attention and approval. He grants it, and she kind of skips off merrily on her way, happy that Zaddy has approved her. So it's very, very interesting. As I was watching your video the other evening, it brought that to mind, and I pulled it up on my phone, and I was listening to you, and I'm like, wow, exactly as he describes. I'm watching your video, so I had to send it to you. Quick heads up, I'm in court about my son, Jeremiah Wins, who was 11. I'll be documenting on YouTube, right? So we'll have an adventure. That's all I want to say. I'm not going to hang out for long. Thank you for your time, gentlemen. I'm in the clouds.
All right.
Peace out, man. Be good, man. Peace. Shout out to that guy. So look, I want to shout out all the people who hit me up on the Cash App. T Fitness. I'm sorry how you got treated the last time you were on the platform, brother. Really and truly, man. 2 Triv, shout out to you. Sabir Plumbing, Milton Patton, shout out to you, bro. Swift, shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate the donations, man. You know what I'm saying? Help GG get his furnace fixed, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't, man, I swear to God, man, I came here, this house was fucking in tatters. Okay?
Tatters, like tatters, yeah.
Man, crazy. You know what I'm saying? We need to do a fund drive. I'm grifting now, though. Let me stop grifting.
Hey, don't stop, man. You know,
let me stop grifting, man. Then I became like one of the most despised men in the manosphere. I don't know how the fuck that happened all of a sudden. But it's all to the good, man. Like, look, at the end of the day, all I'm trying to articulate, even at 12%, that's not saying much. It's not a significant data point to demonstrate to me that, like, all of a sudden now black women are like the most desired in terms of marriages to white guys. Like, white guys,
only 28% of black women actually married. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
So Sean Jackson says, look, according to the U.S., let me read these super chats. According to the U.S. Census Bureau's current population survey, 6.4% of black married non-black men.
Yes.
Okay. So that's according to the U.S. Census Bureau's current population survey.
Yeah.
Jay Will says if they were marrying white men like that, then they wouldn't be crying about the passport bros. Right. Andre says another divester or the one from your stream, BGS. I bet you she ain't married.
That's a different one. That's not the same one. That's the one that actually wears the Confederate flag, the MAGA mask in front of her face. I recognize her voice. Okay.
And Leon says Tommy Curry expressed this one in one of his online classes. A young black girl pretty much asked the question, and he answered it. I don't know what the context of that is, so I'm kind of confused about it. Is it about hypergamy, racial hypergamy? Is it just about SDT, which is social dominance theory, or is it about the subordinate male target hypothesis?
I think it's probably SDT.
Okay. Shout out to Hurricane Greg, man. Appreciate you, bro. Shout out to you, BGS Hitmore. Man, I appreciate you. You already know that. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Louis Conyer. Appreciate you, sir. And already shouted out to all the rest of y'all, man. Shout out to Ebo Sosa.
Yeah.
He says BGS, GG, and Johnson is like listening to Bruce Lee, Jet Li, and Muhammad Ali. That's a whole bunch of Lees, man. Alliteration in there is dope.
Look up, man. I wish you had the song, but got one more.
Yeah, that's dope, man. But shout out to Ebo Sosa, man. Damn, Mississippi. God damn, Mississippi. That's a hell of a motherfucking donation right there, kid. I can't do no bonds right now though, man. So for some reason, let me see if I can do that though. Let me see if I can make that shit happen.
He thanks you from the bottom of his heart. Trust me.
You got the humpback.
I can do it.
Crooked letter I. Crooked letter I. Humpback guy. Said, bitch, I'm a demon. Just look in my eyes. You don't wanna die. Chopper gon' blow in this motherfucker fire. I told my nigga, let's go and let's ride. Nigga won't play and that motherfucker died. That motherfucker died. Cause I'm from the M.I. Crooked letter I. Crooked letter I. Humpback guy. Said, bitch, I'm a demon. Just look in my eyes. Say, I'm down to ride. Chopper gon' blow in this motherfucker fire. Pussy, you play, motherfucker, you die. That's on the gang and that's on the gas. Pussy, you play, watch that motherfucker ride.
I like that damn thing, man. I like that. Look. I don't know why my bombs won't go off though, man. I gotta work on that and figure out what the hell's going on with it, man. I don't know what the hell's going on with
it. There you go. Boom.
I don't know what the hell is going on with that thing though, man. I really and truly do not, man. But ultimately, all I'm trying to articulate here is that, like, what the racial context of the United States is, and the desirability of black women is low in terms of like desirability amongst all women. I'm not the one that made this up. I'm not doing this to spite black women, to demonstrate that y'all are aesthetically displeasing, like that, or anything like that. I'm just saying the truth is this is what the data just demonstrates, especially when it comes to online dating. Now I would have to be more expansive and to do more, to dig into the browse and the entrails of the research to figure out other, other thoughts and data. But I mean, bro, like, come on, man. We know blacks are at the bottom of the racial total pole, man.
Right.
It's just a fact. I didn't make this up. Nobody made this up. Like, why do you, as women who are black, why do you think you're going to escape this? Why do you think that you're the exception? That you're magical in contradistinction to niggas, dusties, bullet bags, or whatever? Why do you think that you're going to be perceived as something different? This is what I don't get. Why are you the exception? Thank you, KMS, man. I appreciate that, brother. He says, supporting my interest. This is big. Thank you, GG and BGS, for all that you do. No, thank you, brother, for making it happen, man.
Okay, this is what she was talking about, right? She's talking about Pew Research. She's talking about newlyweds, okay? Not overall, but newlyweds during 1 year.
Yeah, that's cooking the books right there.
Yeah.
Yes, so
that's
basically, saying BGS and she was way off base compared to what y'all brought up.
Yeah.
It's cooking the books, man. Like, here's the deal, man. I'm not saying this like a lot of people. Okay, so really, I talked to BGS about this yesterday, man. I'm not really even red pill. I'm black pill for real.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Because I'm about the truth. If it makes black men look bad, okay, so be it. If it makes black women look bad, okay, well, fucking so be it. I'm into telling the truth wherever the truth leads and directs me, man.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not. But I think that if you at least have some grasp of the truth, you can begin to manage what you need to do in order to correct whatever it is that's going wrong. Especially as it pertains to social groups. It makes no sense to be inaccurate and to just go with how you feel. I got a lot of feelings. I'm pissed off, man. You think I ain't mad at like a lot of bitches out here?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the idea is laughable. Look at the content that I've created over the course of 5 damn near years.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden it's going in a different direction because of what? Come on, man. Like, just be practical is all I'm saying. Just use your brain. Am I pissed off? God, man, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off to the highest levels of pistivity. Okay? But at the same time, the truth is what the truth is. I can't change it. I gotta deal with it. And I have to assess it. And I have to move forward with it. I just think that, like, at the end of the day, black women don't want to be brought under any purview at all. Don't tell us you love us at the same time you got your eye on white man's dick. Come on now. That's all we saying.
Yeah.
Don't say that you like in this struggle with us and that you, like, I've heard like black women who I've seen be visibly upset and disturbed about black men say that they actually out here caping for us.
Yeah.
They are biggest benefactors and protectors.
Yeah.
Just like that, I'm sorry, God bless the dead, man. There's a little girl who got killed at a BLM protest, and she was like complaining about how like they actually riding for us. Like, you know, we out here making sure that y'all don't get murdered and killed, and then she got killed at the event. But I just think like BLM, it was a bait and switch anyway. They just used the spectacle of black men's death to argue for greater advantages for themselves or to be seen. Because they don't like to be rendered invisible. They want to be seen. No. Everybody wants to be seen, man. I was talking to BGS about this shit last night. Everybody wants to be recognized and acknowledged.
Yeah, they do.
Everybody wants to be perceived as a valuable member of a community.
They do.
Nobody wants to be torn down and put on the, you know, like in the laughing stocks and to have eggs thrown at them and rotten vegetables and shit. People want to actually be perceived as honorable, valuable, and, you know, like really actually substantive members of a community. Mm-hmm. Not as, you know, a dusty, crusty, a bitch, or, you know, like a fucking strag, a mag. Nobody wants to be perceived like like this. Okay? But the problem is in this culture, people think that if you got a good job, you're going to be honored.
Right.
Not necessarily the case.
No.
It's my strong belief that black men in this space, even though they say fuck the community, they really are longing for community life more than any other thing.
Yeah.
Because with community life comes acknowledgement, honor, recognition.
Yeah.
Your money just gonna make you like be used, and you can fucking get some, you know, some pussy or something like that. But I mean, it ain't gonna just getting your dick tossed. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna bring you honor and respect within the community of others. Maybe on your job, but I mean, like you. I mean, how many people love their job to such an extent, like the only honor that they have in their lives just comes from that? You know what I'm saying? So it's just, I think that men want honor. Everybody wants honor and love. And I think that men try to find that in family life more than anything else.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem lies. It's like, yesterday I told you, man, these white dudes came over here, man, from Europe, and they might have been thinking about some ass or, like pillaging.
Right.
But they weren't talking, they weren't thinking like, I'm about to fall in love. I'm about to go over to America and fall in love.
No. They wanted to be tourists, for lack of a better term.
No, they not only tourists, they was trying to take all the gold out this bitch and to get all the land up in here.
Okay.
Oh, you trying to say they came over here to sow their wild oats, huh?
No, they came over here to rape, pillage, and plunder, man. That's a fact. They did it. That's what they came here for. They came here to get all the gold that was in this bitch and to basically wipe out the autochthonous or the indigenous population and to terraform this shit into a place they can call their own.
Yes. Yeah.
Am I wrong?
You're right. Yeah.
No.
You're right.
Now motherfuckers talking about we want to go overseas, not to take the shit over. We trying to find wives and shit. I'm no disrespect. I think the passport movement makes sense. I get it. Mm-hmm. But it's the honor the love that men want, the acknowledgement that men want. They put it all in the basket of these chicks.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. I think I think that's just a bad investment, man. To put
you want to be loved by your mother. And we can't get it.
Shit, man. Hey, some people's moms don't love them. I thank God I did have a mother that loved me, but she's no longer on this plane. This plane. So, God bless her soul. I got a funeral urn with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I took care of her. I was there when she died. I would have done the same thing for my stepfather, but his kids came to get him. I flew into California the day before he died. I was right there with him. You know what I'm saying? And I said, hey, man, you ain't got to worry about me, man. I'm gone. I'm good. Love you, man. You can go. The next day, he died.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, some people's mamas don't even love them, man. That's some hard shit to deal with, man. But at least, I knew that my mother gave a shit about me, but I was the only child, so.
Yeah.
Who knows how things would have been different if I had a sister to deal with. I don't know.
I think a lot of this stuff is actually unconscious, Dr. Gigi. I think that's the problem.
What's up, Dr. Johnson? What's cracking with
you? There he is. That's the other half.
Good?
Dr. Johnson, salute. I was one of those, I was about to say, here present, I was one of those that my mom, my egg donor, she never, ever, and I was her oldest. The first, so I relate to that 110%. I know where you're coming from.
It's not that I think that there is value in family life, especially with a significant other. There is value in that, and I'm not going to say that there is none, but it can't be the only way that you derive honor and acknowledgement from somebody else. There has to be other ways that you can go about doing it. And in fact, the very way that you go about actually attaining the admiration of women in general is to be, like a vital and like a leader within like institutions that you've created where people honor you outside of the context of sex or something like, or, like relationship life. It just is, I know it's oxymoronic for me to say that, but that's how it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Or either money.
We gotta find a way. We gotta find a way.
But if it's just money, you know what chicks is out for, man. They out for transactions, man. They'll take your money real quick, fast, man. Burn you in, burn you out, and leave you in a lost and found. Hit you like the New Jersey Turnpike, and you wondering like, I thought it was me. Keep singing BBD songs.
You're disposable, man. That's the problem when it just goes to money. You're disposable. like old red bottoms, right?
Damn, man, you put it like that, man. Shout out to Craig Spencer, man. Hold on, let me shout out these people. I'm gonna let Rogue and Dr. Johnson speak, man. I ain't saying nothing, so I'm gonna stop talking. Bad Black Gamer, shout out to you. He says I was referring to black women in my last chat. Show you right. Rationally Rogue, shout out to you. Thank you for the donation, man. He says, thank you both for opening my eyes to this fact. I've always thought black prefer white men, especially those I work with and date, but now I know that it wasn't just me. I can believe my lying eyes. Well, your eyes wasn't lying. Had asshole says, what up, Doc and BGS? They believe they special and magical, hence black girl magic, man. Shout out to Jimmy H, man, TV. Some things, you know, I'm like, I hear him say, man, I'm like, man, for real. She says she is quoting from 2017 or the 2010 census. Man, that shit ain't accurate at all.
And she was actually Pew Research talking about newlyweds, 2015 to 2017. That's what she's quoting from.
Mississippi Delta guy says, mark the date, 2014, 2023, Eureka, bingo, pay dirt, broadcast on Hypergamy. Man, I did that but I did this a long time. Me and Dr. Johnson had this conversation 3 years ago, wasn't it?
Yep. Got to dig it out the crates, man, because it's you know, it's the Holy Grail. We got to excavate that bad boy and bring it up, and shine it up. So we get ready to do.
Doc Johnson, you want to say something, man?
Yeah, man. I was trying to catch up, but I don't know where we are now. But you know, I'm glad to see you covering this again. And I always wondered why you didn't, because this is a profound piece, especially the link to social dominance theory. There's one thing I wanted to point out real quick about social dominance theory that I think we need to keep in mind.
Okay.
The initial book that came out on this is dated 1999. So there are some things about it, especially in regard to, you know, outgroup males and in the context of our experience, black males, that we need to add to this discussion. You know, technology changes the game. I think for the most part, Sedanius was talking about an enclosed environment where one group has dominated another. But when you look at black men and what we're doing, if you take Passport Bros, for example, you know, they don't necessarily fit within the framework of what he was talking about, because, you know, he was generalizing, you know, for the majority of contexts where one group dominates another. But in terms of where African American men in particular find themselves, right? You know, easy, cheap transportation around the world, you know, even some degree of American exceptionalism, to the degree where, you know, even if you earn a medium salary, it's impactful in other environments in different ways. All of those things allow black men different opportunities than necessarily what he kind of anticipated. So, you know, even though he's right about it, especially in an enclosed environment, I think when we open up the space and black men begin to travel, black men begin to date in different contexts, internationally, interracially, so on and so forth, it opens up opportunities that don't exist for outgroup men in every context. And I don't think he anticipated for black men. But I think as long as we've stayed in that within a closed environment, he's completely right about the limited options. But all of that changes for black men. And then that's not even dealing with social media. Social media changes the game, hence the manosphere, hence us being able to be on a platform together having this conversation. All of that changes the game. Within the last decade, we have seen black men be able to have conversations we couldn't fathom 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is changing our whole worldview on a lot of different things, on a lot of different fronts. So there's a lot of opportunity, I think, opening up for black men that you know is really something we haven't even anticipated fully, and can yield quite a bit. But anyway, I just wanted to add that because I think what you're adding with racial hypergamy is deep.
So I'm gonna have to think about that, especially if I'm gonna write, you know, about this subject. And I think, you know, I just want to respond to some of the books I've read that suggest that black women need to be dating like white guys for fulfillment, and like, you know, I understand that the drive and the push to do that, but I mean, you know, the evidence just suggests that like you can't overcome racial animus in that regard that easy, right? And the correct thing, like, okay, so let me pull the veil back and speak about this candidly. Okay. So you mean to tell me that the approach that you have to freedom is to fuck your previous master? Yes. Who's closing off opportunities for, you know, the fruit of your womb? That's the strategy now?
Yeah.
I don't personally, I don't understand it. But I see what you're trying to do. I just don't. My mind is like does not compute. I don't. I just don't get it, man. I think it's dumb as fuck. But hey, hey, people got to do what they got to do, man. I can't tell them what they can and what they can't do. No, so. But Road Dog 36, you want to add something to the conversation? You haven't said anything, man.
I like the thumbnail though.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Superfly. Go ahead,
man. Yo, shout out to the panel. I've got this information from this other YouTuber by the name of you guys know him, Mr. Z.
Yes, sir.
He's here right now.
He's right there.
Oh, he is. What up, Z? This information is multiple things. It's confirmation that for real deal, these hoes ain't loyal. They ain't loyal.
They're loyal. They're loyal to the game, not to you.
Absolutely. But now we got scientific evidence that proves that everything a pimp done said since the beginning of time is 100% true. That and also for us, this is also very, very freeing. It's like because you, like I said, these hoes gonna find where the food is. Like you ain't gotta worry about they gonna be all right. Like we spend so much time. We've been worrying about these hoes, caring about these hoes. What's how everything. It's like these mother, they know where the food is. They'll find it. And also, it's also a little bit worrying in terms of like if you have a daughter, like she gonna be all right because she a hoe too. She gonna find where the food is, but.
I was just about to say that. Like, what me worry about? Like, you got more to worry about from a son than you do from a daughter.
Yeah, you do.
I hate to say that. I mean, like your daughter can be subjected to violence, but your son can be subjected to violence even more so than your daughter, man. But when it comes to like one of your fruit of your loins being eliminated from this planet, your son, your black son, there's a higher likelihood that he gonna be erased before he's 25 than your daughter.
And Green Gorilla, would you like to inform the people how you know that?
Well, shit, Dr. Johnson gave me the information, man, on a fact sheet, man.
No. I was saying that because I just want you to tell the people that you have 2 daughters.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
For sure. And some people think
from experience.
Like I'm caping from, like so a lot of people think that because I got 2 daughters that all of a sudden, like I'm like so caring, like like I got the winning chip soldier form. Dude, I try to tell people, man, look, my daughter told me she wanted to do jujitsu.
Okay.
I was like, cool. She got out there, she got folded like a pretzel. I mean, this little girl was fucking eating her ass up, and little boy eating that, because they make them all do unisex.
Okay.
Now, if my son was out there getting his ass whipped, what am I supposed to tell my son? It's okay, baby. Rub him on the shoulder. No, you're going to be like, get your ass out there. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did that with my daughter. Motherfuckers were surprised to see me do it. I'm like, what the fuck y'all looking at? If my son out there, you be telling me to go get at him, right?
Yeah.
So I'm telling my daughter to do that shit. Now y'all looking at me like I'm supposed to like fuck hold her hand.
Yeah, you walked that wall just like he did. Yeah.
Exactly. And if they keep folding you up, they gonna keep folding your ass up. That's your fault. If that's how you want the dice to roll, keep allowing them to fold your ass up out there. But you asked for this. You saw me out here doing this.
Yes.
Now you wanted to do it. It's a form of curiosity, I guess. Now you got to deal with it. This some real world shit. But her mama didn't make her stick with it. Well, I don't feel like she should have to continue to do it if she really doesn't like it. I said, that's why the fuck you gonna make her a quitter. I could turn her into a champion. But and I'm paying for this shit anyway. What the fuck you got to complain about it for? I'm the one making the motherfucking, the investment. So, but I mean, look, at the end of the day, man, there's certain limitations in certain places and spaces I'm gonna go when I'm talking to like the mother of my children, she the only one living now. But she's actually respected me, whereas the other one did not. Okay, so I got to give her some, got to give her some honors for not being a bitch of a baby mother. You know what I'm saying? For real, I ain't gonna lie.
I add something to that though.
Go ahead.
That works in two dynamics where you have gender roles in that fashion. When your daughter is not forced to follow through, she doesn't have to learn to stand on her two own and knuckle up until she masters it. That dynamic works as long as either women are given artificial support from the state to where they don't have to compete to the same degree as men, or
sure.
if they're in an environment where the men and women are socialized to, work with one another. So she doesn't have to do that because she'll eventually marry someone that will. Those are the two environments that allow for women to not have to compete. But as long as, one of those two isn't in place, women are going to find themselves in a hard situation.
But I was talking to BGS yesterday. And this is the difference between, I guess, like the women in my family as opposed to some people's other families. My mother said so I don't have any siblings other than like have brothers and sisters from my father, okay? Who I love just like they full brothers and sisters, okay? So there's no half love that I, have for them. But like the reality is like in the household I grew up in, I didn't have any siblings, but my cousin was like a sister to me. My grandmother was the thing that tethered the both of us together. And they sat us down and had a racial talk. You know what I'm saying? They was like, she gonna be good. She pretty. She young. If she don't do what the fuck she's supposed to do, some man gonna take care of her. And she is pretty. I mean, that's my cousin. All the niggas in high school, grade school, man, what's up with your cousin? What's up with your cousin? I'm like, man, I don't give a fuck. Go talk to your damn self. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna give you access to her. You get access to her through your own agency. But they told me, man, you got 3 strikes against you. Young, you black, and you male. Mm-hmm. She gonna have it easy. You gonna have a fucking hell of a time. Now, I don't know what motherfuckers is teaching their daughters and their sons out there, but at least mine had the realness to tell me what the real is. They understood the disadvantages that black men were working with as opposed to black women. So, but I just don't get, like, I understand some guys out here like dealing with like they all of a sudden caught off guard, like they didn't know. Shit, I've been knowing how fucked up the game is. But what I didn't know is what they didn't tell me is the various ways that women that you involved with, like romantically, can fuck you over. They didn't teach me that. And that's the centerpiece of what they should have taught me. Mm-hmm. They didn't teach me that shit. They didn't teach me about child support. You know what I'm saying? They ain't teach me about parental alienation. They ain't teach me how to respond to these bitches when they off the handle, acting ignorant as fuck, trying to assault you. Because my parents didn't assault people. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they weren't like that. But that don't mean everybody else ain't like that. Like, so because they haven't experienced that pathology, they really didn't know how to teach me, like to avoid it or not, like what to do upon the event that it occurred. But shit, bruh. All I can say is I'm sorry for guys who, grew up in maternal, households where the mother just didn't give a shit about them and didn't attend to their education.
I think mostly black mothers prepared us to be a service to younger black women. Right? Mm-hmm. They didn't really prepare us with how to defend ourselves or protect ourselves. They actually made us more vulnerable for a lot of the same policies they used against our fathers.
Yes.
Yeah,
so your definition of being a good man was being available to women to really be, used in all kinds of ways, whether it was as a long-term husband and supporter or whatever. That's one level of use, all the way to the abusive part of the scale where you were just available for semen, yes, income, maybe sexual, fun
and protection.
And some degree of protection. Like I think our mothers prepared us for that. Mm-hmm. That's my impression. That was my experience too, and by the time you came back to her with, this shit that women actually do, you know, she just kind of looked at you and said, "Wow, I don't understand these young women. They're crazy." And I've had to point out, I said, you did the same thing to my father.
Yeah, that's the part of the game. Yeah, that's that part of the game, man.
Short
That's
memory.
And they kind of there's you can see the cognitive dissonance. They just kind of look at you like, I don't know where to go with that. You know what I mean? And you don't even have to mean it with any kind of anger or you don't even have to be trying to cuss your moms out. You just can point it out, and she'll just look at you like she doesn't see herself in these younger women, but it's the same socialization that both groups have gotten, and you're just the fatted calf that's been prepared and put on the pyre for another generation of women to eat off of. When you remove yourself from that, though, now you're breaking the rules. And they don't know what to do with that, whether it's monkhood, whether it's SYSBM, passport bro, interracial relationships, international ones, doesn't matter. When you withdraw, then all of a sudden you're breaking the rules. Now that's when they start chasing you to Taiwan, to Thailand to argue with you about who you dating. That's when it goes left.
My experience is, man, motherfucking men got a hard head and a soft ass, man. I know that sounds fucked up for me to say that, but you could tell a man, like I was told. And I didn't listen, man. I thought I had all the answers and shit. I'm like, nigga said, don't get it. I remember this guy was fixing my bathroom upstairs. Like, I couldn't have been no more than like 26, 27 years old. He say, man, fuck that bitch. He's working on my bathroom. He's like, man, fuck that bitch. You are the prize, not her. Don't get the bitch pregnant. Ooh. Now this is a man who lived in my neighborhood. I know him as Mr. Perry. Okay, but I knew his father, and I knew him. He was about my mother's age, but I know who his father was because his father lived. This old black neighborhood of middle class people, right? Until the Pruitt-Igos came down, and then everything changed. But he told me, don't get that bitch pregnant. Don't fuck with that bitch and get her pregnant. You're the prize. I'm like, man, she cool, man. You know what I'm saying? You 27, fucking raw, everything. Next thing you know, I got a baby. Then here come the bullshit. Man, I mean, it was told to me by men, like, don't do this. And what I do? I fucking did it. I did it anyway. Because I'm feeling like I'm the man who got control. I'm the exception to the rule. Man, that bitch got pregnant. I was with the woman for 4 years before she even got pregnant. So I'm like, okay, we already established a friendship outside of the context of like children complicating the shit. And what I do? Man, nigga, you know how you get to thinking you Superman. I can do it. Oh, she ain't like that. Yeah, she was. She was exactly like that motherfucker said she was. Exactly like it.
It's a bait and switch that we are not prepared for. You know what I mean? Because as you said, you were with her for years. You didn't see that. You didn't really see a lot of that behavior, right? Until after. But as we're being prepared, especially by mothers, a lot of these women, and I grew up in a family of women, they've been socialized since childhood to take advantage of the system. Mm-hmm. They know what to do when they get pregnant. They know what to do when they're unhappy in a marriage. They've been told since childhood, take them to court, divorce them, do this, do that. The lawyers jump in and tell the judge that he molested the kids. I can't tell y'all how many men call me on this on a regular basis because they're not prepared for how these women's socialization kick in at different stages of the relationship. You can be with her for 4 or 5 years and not see her engage in this behavior until you put yourself out there. And then she starts pushing the buttons, and now you got to dance to it. And you looking at her like, this ain't the same woman I've been with.
Man, brand new.
Indigo in the comments reminded us of our loved one, Roge's son. And Roge's son says, these hoes for the mainframe, dog. And that's he really does say that for real. It wasn't a far reach for me. I understood that hypergamy did not end at the lightest skinned black man with some money. So racial hypergamy for me was just a no-brainer. It didn't mean much. All the divestors did was be honest and forthcoming about their preference. Shout out to whoever, what's her name, divested conservative, whoever she is that jumped on the panel earlier. BGS, you're correct. She is wrong. It is 12% when you control for only married Black women. Once again, when you control for only married Black women, that is when it's 12% of Black women who are married outside of the race. When you count all marriageable age Black women, which I think starts at the age of like 16, but okay, it's 4 point whatever percent. So I don't even know what she's talking about.
I actually pulled up the study she was talking about. There's a Pew Research study. This is actually
for 1 year.
For 2 years, 12% of newlyweds. Newlyweds only, not the total. Newlyweds.
Thank you.
For
so
2 years, yeah.
And it matters because this conversation that we're having about, and I'm glad that we're finally here, because my whole project was for Black men not to feel like they're lacking. It's not you. Black women want to be, okay. There's a very interesting way at which Army Osei Frimpong. Oh, I'm sorry.
I just said shout out to Ed. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you good. You good. Bring your this is your channel, right? But there's a very interesting way at which Army Osei Frimpong, the funky academic, frames this, right? And he speaks about women when you aspire to be a man the way we think of it, or when you aspire to be a woman the way we think of it, you're actually aspiring for whiteness. And because I understood, not only from listening to swirlers and divestors, I use them as this bright ass light, right? Because they're so loud about it, right? But I also bring up the East Asian community with East Asian women. I bring up Mindy Kaling as a South Asian woman, because these women are showing you through action, and then the divestors and swirlers are being very loud about it. And Miss Jasmine Theodora, even though she tried to frame it in a particular way, she's also being very loud about this wanting to be white the way white women are white. Right? And it's not just white women, it's upper middle class and above white women. What I tell everyone, what I contend with is that because of that relationship between Black women, white men, and Black men, that's why our boys can't read at grade level. That is why much of them said nothing about the school to prison pipeline, right? That is why you have that. That is why they go out of their way to profit off of the dead bodies of Black men, like a George Floyd. And then you have these 3 queer Black women who, push these movements after a Mike Brown or after a Trayvon Martin, right? Because it's not about you. It's about the ascension to whiteness as white women have it. The goal is not to kick, and I say this all the time, the goal is not to kick off Margot Robbie off of the European beauty standard and just leave it, or make it more egalitarian. No, the goal is to kick off Margot Robbie and then replace her with a Lizzo. Leave the entire structure the way it is. Just kick her off and put Lizzo there, right? And I think that is why it's not just about Black men, Black women, and their romanticism or lack thereof. It is about Black men and Black women's relationship or lack thereof. And then what does that mean for Black boys?
You know what's interesting about that, Z? I was talking to this gay brother, this gay professor, and he said something that I had never heard before. He said at the end of the day, he said what gay men, especially gay Black men, want most. They want to be picked by straight, white, well-to-do men. Then Black men are second. But he said they want to be picked over women by straight, white, rich men. So when you look at what you just said in terms of Black women, it's mirrored in gay Black men as well. And there's this idea that the standard, ideal man who they weren't looking for gay men to pick them. They want straight men to pick them over.
Well, if as the world is currently constituted, we understand that white men sit on the top of the gender racial hierarchy. Okay, fine. When you couple conspicuous consumption, everybody think it's just about products. No, it's about ideas. It's about people. It's about lifestyle. When you couple conspicuous consumption with relationships, it's all about the white man, right? And I say that, and I don't want younger brothers to feel any kind of way about them and themselves. No, this is not about what you're not doing. This is about how women feel and think about this current structure that we have on planet Earth, right? And it's the white man at the very top, especially in Western society, right? It's the white man at the very top. And I think many people struggle with accepting that and then moving on from that accordingly. And whatever that means for you, it means for you, whether you still want to be with a black woman, a black ADOS woman, whether you want to do passport bros, whether you want to do SYSBM, but accepting that this is where we are now. And you have multiple examples of this across the political spectrum, across the shade and color spectrum, across ethnicities, right? Even orientation, right? I would like to remind y'all of Bill de Blasio's wife, right? So, across sexual orientations, the white man at the top, the straight white man at the top, is the preferred choice for a number of people, regardless of all of that, right? And once we accept that and move on, then I think our lives will be a whole lot easier. And I'll pause right there.
Yeah, that's why I think racial hypergamy is a good explanatory theory. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that there are instances in which, like in China, for example, I mean, in like Asia and Africa, the relationship, I bet you a Chinese guy can go into Africa and pull a lot of pussy. I'm sorry.
They're doing it now.
Yeah, they are.
I mean,
Correct.
And the basic pretext of racial hypergamy is just basically that it's a construct that describes a pattern where women who are in out groups strategically align themselves with the more dominant racial group for better access to opportunities, resources, and social standing. It can be white men. It can be white women. You see a lot of black lesbians fucking white women to get close to that power.
What did you say about Wanda Sykes?
Shit, what did I say about Angela Davis?
Uh-oh.
What did I say about Kimberly Crenshaw? She ain't got no husband, do she?
Not that I remember, no.
Huh?
Uh-oh.
So she probably munching the carpet. Somebody, man, no disrespect.
I got to get back to this grading because I'm still doing this shit and it's exhausting. And these students are trying to get over on an entire semester, so I'm trying to finish this out. But let me just say this. What I think needs to be added to at least the social dominance theory component of this is that where black men fall, what we've been able to do despite the situation we're in is what's not been accounted for even by Sedanius. Black men have been able to make themselves, I mean, when you look at our status in society and relate it to how attractive we are to different groups of women around the world, we are defying what theory we have in terms of what we're supposed to be and where we're supposed to be at. We find ourselves desired by women all over the world, despite our situation. You know what I mean? Even within the confines of the United States, yes, wealthy white men are at the top of that chart. But black men, based on our economic status, based on our access to society, we should be at a very different position and based on, attractability. But but we find ourselves desired nonetheless. And we can go into the details of that. And there's a lot to it. But at the end of the day, I'm just saying that brothers have been able to turn something and take our situation and turn it into something that technically shouldn't exist. And yet it does.
Yes, sir.
I think
we mix sugar together and get ice cream, baby. You know how we do it.
Hey.
Dr. T, when you say that, I think to myself, because overseas, you're a man first. In America, you're not white first.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something, because the man is the white man in Western civilization. But once you get out of that, you're a man first, right? They don't see you as negative first. They see you as positive first, which is a man first. Yeah, you may not be white. Yeah, the white man still is the white man around the planet, even outside of the West, but you're still a man first outside of the West. In the West, in America in particular, you're not white first. And then we get to all the positives if they even give you that.
Well, there's a whole legacy of us being considered what I call walking phalluses. God damn, what was that?
Yeah, yep.
We're considered, walking phalluses. But the thing about it is, at the end of the day, even if you're perceived as a sexual object by whatever group of women you're talking about, you still have a man and a woman in one room. And at some point, as human beings, you're gonna have a dialogue. And that opens itself up to possibilities. So even when it comes to us being viewed as something, exploitive and stereotypically based, you're still getting in the room with groups of women that technically you shouldn't be able to based on your outgroup male status. Now you got this woman laying next to you that you just blew her back out, and now you're having a conversation. Tell me, we could talk about this going back to slavery. There was a whole period where you had white indentured servants, you had black slaves, you had Native Americans living on plantations, doing work. And one of the problems that slave owners had is that these groups of people were marrying, fighting, dating, having sex, breaking up, having kids. They were forming families and communities despite their status. And slave owners knew it wouldn't take long before they would look up the hill at that plantation house and identify slave owners as the problem. So whiteness became a useful tool to create a hierarchy that would break apart these groups of people that are starting to come together on one level or another. And this is why I keep talking about it. There is the stereotype, there is all of that plays out against black men. But at the end of the day, when you got a man and a woman laying in bed together having a conversation, you don't know what can come out of that. And black men have been turning lemons into lemonade behind that shit in ways that people don't want to admit. So I'm just putting that on the table as something to add to this, because Sedanius came up with quite a bit that I think is important. But I think there's some things we can add to this, because there were things in 1999 that weren't in place that are in 2023.
For sure. For sure.
I appreciate the work, GG. Appreciate it. And shout out to BGS, Dr. Z, everybody, Mr. Z, everybody in the house. I got to roll.
I need y'all to stop calling Mr. Z Dr. Z, because if look, I don't want that pressure, Dr. T. Look, I don't need the pressure, okay?
All right, man. Well, peace out, brother, man. It's glad to be in communion with you, man. I'll be in contact with you, bro.
All right, man. Y'all take it easy.
Be easy.
All right, Dr. T.
Dr. T.
Can I ask Mr. Z a question?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Go ahead.
Z, you said because this is fascinating, and you said they don't want to knock Margot Robbie off the top. I mean, they want to knock her off the top and replace her with Lizzo. Why Lizzo?
And I use Lizzo as a stand-in for, I really want to say, there's a sister, she used to have a show called The Grapevine. She used to be a host. But I want to say West African features, not East African features. No, we ain't talking about the Ethiopians. Nope. Or the Eritreans. No. Too slender, and some of their features don't look as West African. No, they want someone darker skin, broader nose, West African features, because they don't actually want to tear down the hierarchy. Just like Dr. T was just saying to us that when he had the conversation with the LGBTQ brother, that the goal is to get a straight white man. Once again, they don't want a gay black man. They want to flip a straight white man, right? They want to. That's the goal. It is about ego, right? It's about ego. It's about, look at what I got. So removing Margot Robbie, which is the stand-in for the white woman at the time, right? It doesn't matter which white woman. It doesn't matter what year we're in. You replace that white woman with any black woman who wouldn't be deemed as traditionally attractive as the world is currently constituted. And that needs to be the person who sits at the top of that beauty hierarchy.
Okay,
right?
So you don't mean a natural fat girl. You just mean somebody who's not that.
No. But preferably a heavy-set black woman. I'm using Lizzo because that's someone that we know. But preferably a heavy-set black woman with very West African features.
Okay, well, right. I'm fascinated by the fat part. Why you think the fat part?
Is because 80% of black women are actually overweight. That's why.
Yes.
Okay. So, but they don't want to end hierarchy itself. They want hierarchy.
No.
They want to replace themselves as the idol of affection in the hierarchy at the pinnacle.
It can't be Kelly Rowland. It can't be Lupita, right? It can't be Keisha from Belly. No. It has to be for those of you that never watched The Grapevine, Uchechi, right? Or Lizzo, or the heavy set black woman from Glee. I can't remember what her name is, but Yeah, her, like, it has to be, someone like that. Jennifer Hudson when she was heavier, right? Not Jennifer Hudson now. Jennifer Hudson when she was heavier, right? So like someone like that, because it's about being validated by the current structure the way it is. I want to stress that you gotta be validated by the current structure the way it is. It's not about turning this egalitarian. That's BS. They want the current structure to remain the way it is. Just remove this particular player for me.
Yeah, and look, let me just say this. This is what implicit within the racial hypergamy is the statement. Like, because it takes it as a matter of fact that these women aren't trying to fucking like create institutions and usher in different forms of justice. To me, that would make sense. Okay, I mean, especially since they say that they're after justice, but to me, it's like, well, justice is incomplete if you're only finding justice for your own self by fucking a white boy. I look, these are supposed to be among the most educated persons in the black community, right? They definitely get more degrees than black men, correct?
Yeah.
Facts.
They're more learned according to the system, correct?
Yeah.
So that means that they should know more about justice because they've taken more classes in the humanities, because they damn sure ain't taking science classes, right?
Absolutely not.
I'm just, hey, look, they're not taking engineering, okay? They're not fucking becoming physicists and shit like this or chemists,
right?
By and large. I mean, these women are taking psychology classes and humanities courses and shit like this. So they have to understand that justice is more comprehensive than who you can fuck. You can't fuck your way into justice, man. Now I know that there's we talked about this earlier on in this conversation, that there's a biological imperative for women to try to select the most the suitable partner so that they can, enhance the capacity for their offspring to flourish and to thrive. Okay, we already know that in the context of this society, white men have most of the power and the resources. So they're going to be perceived as the most viable reproductive partners to give their children a healthy chance at survival. Whether this is implicit or explicit, conscious or unconscious. I mean, the data just demonstrates all these chicks are looking for Zaddy, for Chad, Giga Chad. They all want motherfucking
facts.
They all want that shit, okay? Regardless if they Latino, if they're Asian, if they're black, that's what they're all in search of, okay? But at the end of the day, man, all I'm trying to articulate is, man, I know it sounds fucked up for me to say, but fuck these bitches, man. Let them go, fuck Zaddy, man. Go ahead and let them go, man. Break the chain. If that's what you want to do, go dive head first. Be 10 toes into that shit. Go get it. But the tragedy of it all is you're the least, in terms of out-group women, you're the least desirable. And the question is, why? Why are you the least desirable? And I think it has to just do with, like the juxtaposition of blackness in contradistinction to whiteness. The furthest thing removed from whiteness is blackness. And we've been identified as from the beginning, we've been identified as the thing that's furthest from whiteness. I mean, if you could look at the pro-black literature from like Francis Cress Welsing or Neely Fuller and all those guys, like we have the biggest potential to eradicate the genetic existence of these folks because of the recessive genes that they have. Now, I'm not trying to get into all that shit, but the point is, you're regarded as the furthest thing away from whiteness. Not just as a black man, but black women as well. Yeah. And they don't understand that shit. For some reason, they just don't get it. Latino women don't get it. Asian women don't get it. But here's the difference, though. The shit that we've been through, you would think that we would get some form of, some form of admiration, like for the Civil War, Reconstruction, the Jim Crow, the Civil Rights Movement. I know they participated in all of these movements as well. But damn, the biggest lie is that there's all of this togetherness and this unity, and it ain't there. There's this loyalty that's not there. That's the only thing that black men need to come to the realization of, is that at the end of the day, they're gonna look out for them. They ain't gonna necessarily look out for you. They're not doing it.
Green Gorilla, if you don't mind, I want to go ahead, DJ.
She's married to the game, not to you.
If you don't mind, Green Gorilla, I wanted to read the 2 definitions of conspicuous consumption real quick, because I think that speaks to what I was saying. And the first one is expenditure on or consumption of luxuries on a lavish scale in an attempt to enhance one's prestige. That's the important part. In an attempt to enhance one's prestige. And the other definition I have here is conspicuous consumption denotes the act of buying many things, especially expensive things that are not necessary to one's life, done in a way that will make people notice the purchase. Tying that to these relationships, that's what it's about. We're not talking about stability anymore. Right? We're not talking about, like, if you notice, that's why we're doing this whole no struggle love, no black women in luxury, all this thing that ties into this white man chase, because these people aren't talking about stability anymore. That's an old conversation. Go ahead.
You're right. That's why I did the Rousseau thing. When BGS asked me to do Rousseau, I talked about amor propria. Remember that?
Yes.
And there's a difference between, like, love, a natural love that you have for yourself, like the kind of self-esteem and self-respect that you have through nature. We're talking about, like, keeping up with the Joneses sort of love. We're talking about, like, I want to be perceived not by substantive means, but by superficial means, as I'm better than you. Like, that's why.
Yep.
You hear a lot of amor propria in rap music. Look at my chain, my car, my clothes. Look at these house and all of this. All that's amor propria. There's no substance in it, but it's like, look at my belt, nigga. Look at my hat, hats match my bag. Like, that's the sort of shit that we talking about. But it's omnipresent in Western culture because it's a distraction. So I agree with you. No, like, this is a neoliberal, market-based, artificially created environment in which people are basically grasping for attention through, like, going to the mall and shit. Like, bro, that's the most effeminate way to gain attention, man. Is through dandyism, man. And I like to look fresh like a motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie.
Me too.
Like, I like to look fresh, but the way you look in clothes. That's not how, like, I mean, that's, I'm not going to even say, because the less you say, the less you got to take back. And I've been saying a lot of shit lately that, I probably, I should not have said. So at the end of the day, I think you're right about this. I think, and I think white men, if I was them, I'd be like, man, this is some straight fucking bullshit. These bitches don't really want me for me. They don't love me for me. They love me because it represents the opportunity for them to get close to what they consider to be success, and to be able to go to the mall, and to be able to sip champagne, and to be able to go to brunches and shit like this. All of this is detailed in the 3rd chapter of Black Skin, White Mask by Frantz Fanon. Go read the shit. It's not a heavy read. It's not like a difficult read, but it's a rewarding read because he talks about this shit.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, explicitly has a conversation about how marriage is not supposed to be predicated upon, or romantic partnerships are not supposed to be predicated upon you trying to escape like some sort of oppressive conditions. That's fucking retarded to me, man. Why not try to get rid of the oppressive conditions so you can fuck who you want to, whether they black, red, white, brown, whatever? How about make a situation? To me, justice requires you to fight for justice for everybody, not to find a way to escape it by fucking people.
You mean tear down the system that keeps us alive and we
Bro,
eat off of?
Exactly.
Man, I done said enough right there. We're going to take this to 2 hours. to me, it's like, okay, why not just advocate for a more fair and equitable system across the board instead of saying, and this is why I read to y'all a long time ago, The Dark Ghetto by Tommy Shelby, not Kenneth Clark, okay?
Right. Yeah.
But I read it, and one of the things he says in it, if you remember, the way people perceive the system today, oftentimes they perceive it with status quo bias. Like the system is already fair, and that the people who fail or succeed in it pretty much do so based upon their merits or their deserts. Right? And the reality is, come on, man, like we know so much about the history and the social circumstances of America that have been so profoundly unfair, especially as black folks. Right? We know what has occurred. We feel viscerally the shit that's fucked up in this country in terms of justice. So now what do? All of a sudden we just gonna say, fuck it, fuck justice for, us as a group. I'm just gonna go fuck my way out of it, or I'm just gonna go get me a good job next close to Giga Chad or whoever the fuck. Because one could argue that's a form of tokenism, and assimilationism is also a form of saying I can sidestep, justice for everybody because I made it myself. Fuck you niggas.
Yeah.
And the one thing, if you want to talk about a Rami Osei Frimpong, the one thing he points out, go watch this show he made about 4 or 5 years ago, where he talked about Hegel. And I was talking to BGS about this last night. You might be free by yourself, but it ain't no fun if the homies don't have none.
True.
Because if you got all the bread and your partner is sitting there with no bread at all, he gonna be looking at your ass like a piece of meat, man. Or he's going to be like, somebody who's siphoning off your resources, and there's no equity in the friendship, so therefore, like, there's problems that arise through it. Or, like, say for example, your family doing Thanksgiving, you constantly gotta break off bread. That ain't being free, but being free is being around people who are all functioning, flourishing, and thriving, and the relationship between y'all is all real, and ain't nobody stressing. But I guess some niggas like you have, having yes men around them, the entourage and all this shit. I don't like that, man.
They like the hierarchy.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with hierarchy, but look, there's a difference between hierarchy based upon substantive differentiation of skills. Like typically in the past, men had hierarchy predicated upon their ability to demonstrate valor in battle. That's it.
Yeah.
You become a noble by demonstrating it, like, okay, because that's how you become nobility, really. It was all through military displays of valor, okay? Now it's just like, I'm an investment banker and all this kind of shit. Like, you don't really have to demonstrate anything that demonstrates that you've gone through a struggle. Going to college ain't a struggle, man. Now, the military is a way that you can do so. But increasingly in this culture, the military is just perceived as like a group of people who go off and do shit like mercenary shit for the sake of the elite, so they ain't got to get their hands dirty. But at the end of the day, all I'm trying to just articulate here is it's the difference between hierarchy based upon something that's substantive versus the bullshit that's going on in this culture. Like a nigga's got more hierarchy than me because he got a Gucci belt on.
I mean, Dr. Green Gorilla, Ludacris did tell T.I. when they were beefing, maintaining my fish tank in your house cost the same. And I mean,
that's bullshit. That's some a more propre. I'm richer than you, so I'm more of a man than you bullshit.
Exactly.
That's how I perceive it. And to me, that's not a substantive. I said this shit a long time ago. If money was the measure of how if money was the barometer of manhood, Oprah's more of a man than most of the niggas in the world.
I mean, you saying a whole lot right now, Green Gorilla.
Come come on, man. Like, I mean, it can't be that money is the only thing that you can utilize, or resources is the only thing that you can utilize as a barometer for manhood.
And in neoliberal thought, that's money is the barometer, is it not?
Yes.
I just, you know, I get it, you know what I'm saying? But like, you know.
To the point we are, my apologies, Green Gorilla, to what BGS is saying, money is what we measure this to the point where we're assigning character flaw to men who are not on that level. That's the frightening part. It's not just the money in a vacuum. It's when you couple what we're saying with meritocracy, then it's a character flaw not to be at a certain level.
Yeah.
You're right about that. But let's do this, man, because we are at the 2-hour mark.
All right.
And I'm tired, man. Like, bro, if you, you know, I don't mean to sound like a bitch, but I'm like, what's the name of that chick, Patti LaBelle? If only you knew.
No, man, you're doing yeoman's job, man. I appreciate you guys for coming out, actually expounding upon this, because we actually need you for this. I think this is important. I really do.
Yes.
Yeah. And I just want to end out by saying thank you so much, Green Gorilla, for having me up. Thank you, BGS, for the shout out. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be up here with y'all, you scholars. What's going on, Sauchi? AL, what's going on, Road Dog? And yeah, so I'm gonna drop out. I might do a stream in a little bit too, but once again, I really do think that this deserves a paper, Dr. Green Gorilla, and a book. I'm with BGS on this, because I think this is important because it ties into why Black boys can't read on reading level. The Black women's relationship with Black men, or lack thereof, directly ties into Black boys. And I'll pause right there. Y'all have a great night.
Yeah, and one thing I didn't mention tonight, but that I did mention in the video with Dr. Johnson originally, was that racial hypergamy can be used by white culture in general, or whatever the dominant society is in general, and the people who participate in it and who identify with the, you know, the dominant racial, religious, or ethnic group. They can utilize it as a form of oppression, and especially as it pertains to males, by emasculating them. They could do that. It can be done, and it's often done.
They attempted to do it. It just didn't work on us.
Yeah, well, put it this way. I could say it's worked to some degree, but it ain't gonna work for long. I mean, especially if brothers are figuring out what the fuck is going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I see what the game is. I see how it's being played. Of course, there's some Black scholars who are going to come along and say, you know, well, we don't need to get that tough on women. We don't really need to expose this. It's unnecessary. How much Black women have gone through. We need to use an intersectional lens or whatever. And look, I'm like, see, this is the level where I want to be tough at. Fuck, I'm not. I want to battle with motherfucking, like, the masters of the universe type shit. I ain't trying to fuck around with, like, people, you know, in the social media world. I'm trying to fuck with the elites, the people who are actually doing the thought, you know, who are providing the path as thought leaders. Those are the people I want to be in communion with and to have debates with. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, because I could talk to a million motherfuckers on social media, and the needle won't move on progress, because their ideas are not the ones forming the conversation anyway. The ideas are their ideas are outgrowth of other ideas that have already been permeating the university system for decades. So I want to get, like, I want the final boss. You fuck around with the NPC characters. Go ahead and fuck with them, man.
You sound like Sauchi right now, the final boss.
Yes.
I want the final boss, man. You know what I'm saying? I want to. You ever played the game Bloodborne? I swear to God, it's one of the dopest video games. It's hard as fuck to play when you first, because it's difficult to figure out. But when you play it, man, you finally figure out how to play Bloodborne. They got bosses in that game, man. And the final bosses in that game? Yes, sir. Yeah. That's a hey, bro, that you show me beating the final boss of that bitch. You show me doing that. you doing that, I'm gonna give you some props because it took a long fucking time for me to get over that shit. A long time.
We need some gaming streams from you then, boss. You ain't got nothing to do. Come on.
Man, I got some shit to do. I've been preoccupied. Okay.
GG, come kick it with us on a Saturday night in the Coliseum, and they'll stream it for you. Trust. You have a good old time talking that shit and watching you play.
All right,
for sure.
Y'all get your closing thoughts in because Gigi got to go do some work. So,
GG, I'm so proud of you. You like. I need you to just go on and turn into Thanos and write this paper and BGS, man. You decoded it once again. You on the job. You went through both of the best that we got to offer in PhDs. You used all the knowledge they gave you. You sift through it. You sorted through it, and then you went, aha! Yeah. Let me go tell my boys. And then when you told your boys, and they were like, oh yeah, this makes sense. You're right, BJS. Aha! Three-headed monster on the job. I love y'all, man. Stay on the job. Keep working them. We all we got. Peace out.
Hey man, peace out, AL, man. Shout out to you, man. Be safe out there on the road, my guy.
All right, who's next? Jump in.
Well, I'll go. Well, I'll make it quick, obviously. I'm glad we're finally going this direction because, in my opinion, this is basically where Rom has been this entire time.
Okay.
Right? He's really been talking, especially behind, closed doors, about power and making power moves.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is a lot of guys come out here and they're so on the surface, they don't realize what you guys are trying to do. You guys are looking at the structure as a man should. You're being pragmatic as a man should. And if you do not understand how the structure is created and how to maneuver, how to play, and also gather other players who, especially being a black man, like we already talked about this, BGS. For me, Negroes are gonna Negro. It don't matter where you're from. For real. We Negroes all over the world, period. So here in this country, if you're already, seen socially at the bottom, it's suicidal to look at your brother, no matter where he was born, as an adversary, because you're at the bottom socially. So that's why I think where you guys finally taking it is very important and very key. And yeah, we look forward to that book, BGS. And Gigi and BGS, you are not off the hook with that Octane book either. So I'm saying it public and live.
I'm gonna get mine out before he does. I promise you that, man. I promise you that.
Yeah, so appreciate y'all, man. Y'all doing.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, man. For real, I do.
Beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Yeah, before this is what I want to say about Bloodborne. I've seen some comments going on about it. The one thing you got to be mindful of about that game is that it's a cyclical game. You can't kill all of the characters. They replenish if you move from one part of the game to the other. The name of that game is to progress through it and to get to the boss.
Okay.
The players are going to always replenish. You can't wipe them out.
Okay.
Okay, so having said all that, Road Dogg, kick the Willy Bobo with us.
This is a great stream. I hope Mr. Z does a stream. But what this analysis, what this really shows is that, I know the new thing is that, we need to separate politically, which is 100% true, but the understanding that I have is that you've always been separated politically since Adam and Eve, since day one. Men and women have lived in different worlds. We are and have always been separate when it comes to politics. And it's just time for us to understand it and wake up and start doing things accordingly to save ourselves, save our sons, save our world, and ultimately save our country. And that's about it, man. Great stream, guys.
For sure, man. Be good, bro. So also, you got to get them blood vials, Stardust. And the way I do it, you can farm for that shit. and there are various boards that you can farm on, and you need to be able to farm to fight some of these bosses, because the final boss of that bitch, boy, it's a motherfucker, man. I played that shit, man. It took me weeks to beat that motherfucker, man. I mean, it took me like a couple of weeks, and then that bastard on that beach, man, I can't remember what his name is. Oh, my God. I was fighting that bitch for fucking days, man. Going to sleep, waking up like, I'm getting this bitch. No, you're not. No, you're not. So at any rate, man, Road Dog, man, thank you, man, for coming through, dog.
Yeah, he's muted. It's okay.
Okay, but he did speak his final words, correct?
He did. Yes, he did.
Okay, so that's the orphan cost, that punk monk, man, that son of a bitch. But yeah, BGS, man. Yeah, man. Talk to me, man. Let me know what's going on, man. Talk to me, bro. We got to let them know what's going on Saturday, too, man.
Saturday, we're going to put up Doc's Patreon. We're actually going to be doing a Wheel of Time.
Yeah, we're gonna look at season 1, episode 1 of the Wheel of Time. Yeah. I think the Wheel of Time series is interesting because it's a fantasy story, but it's a story that demonstrates like the differences between men and women and the strategies that men and women use in order to suppress evil.
Yes.
So it's an interesting story, and oddly enough, you know, just if you want to see something interesting, if you're into fantasy and sci-fi sort of shit, come join us on Saturday. It'll be around 2:00. I set it up for 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I hope that's cool.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so I set it up for that time. I'll set up it'll be a webinar on StreamYard. You won't see it on Facebook. You won't see it on YouTube because all of the copyright infringement restrictions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we can do the webinar. It'll be free, for the first 3 or 4 shows that we, the first 3. And then, it probably like $5 for the next few ones. But I just think it'll be good to go through it and to pause when we see things happening that like, oh, what the hell is that? You know what I mean?
And basically, people like Gigi teach it as a class, okay? Because he's a philosopher. It's like a class on philosophy, using a series. So
I'll put it on my Patreon. I'm using this on my Patreon.
Yeah.
But it'll be. I'll leave a link. All you need is the link to get into the webinar. I'll leave the link in the community section of my YouTube channel, and I'll also leave it on my Patreon. So either way, you can access it.
Yeah. And we're trying to do this to encourage you guys to actually go to Gigi's Patreon and actually start joining, okay, and start building that up, because a lot of stuff that he can't do here, he's going to do there, okay? What he wants. Almost like how I asked you to do the Behind the Wall series, okay? Some things you can't do on YouTube, okay? You just can't, okay?
And it's been a long time for he been telling me to do this shit for like years. And I'm like, nah, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't understand it. Now I'm like, yeah, I get it now. Okay, let's do it.
Until the G is ready, man, ain't nothing gonna happen, right?
But StreamYard didn't have webinars.
They didn't have it until like maybe a year ago. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I logistically I didn't know how it was going to happen. That's all I'm saying. I didn't know technically how to actually make it happen. Yeah. I'm Infinite 8. 97 on PlayStation, but I don't game on a computer. I wish I did have a computer set up, man, and like I had like one of the ergonomic gaming chairs and all that kind of shit, and it was cold, at video games like some of the, the greats out there, man. But I'm fucking 50, man. Yeah. My reflexes ain't as fast, man. But I've been gaming since a child though, so I'll never stop gaming. Never. So, but thank you, Louis Conyer. And I want to make sure I thank everybody, man, all 36 of y'all, man, who shouted me out tonight, man, and who donated a little dust for me, man.
Okay. And then also, if you can, at some point, just thank the people that cash apped you.
Yes, sir.
When you get a chance. I know you can't do it now, but when you get a chance.
Well, I'll do it right now. I'll do it right now. I'll do it before I do. So I'll shout out T-Fitness for You, Craig Spencer, Two Triv, Sabir Plumbing, Milton Patton, and Swift. Thank y'all, man. Y'all helped me out tonight, man. I appreciate that. And also, shout out to Louis Conyer, Mississippi Delta guy on many occasions. Ronin 76, Andre 416 Reform, Autistic Males, Dar, Ray Knowles, Craig Spencer again, Bad Black Gamer, Rationally Rogue, Had Asshole, Jimmy HTV, Beef King, KMS. I've never seen you before, but so thank you for that generous donation.
Yeah.
Ebo Sosa, Sean Jackson, Jay Will, Leon 008, Hurricane Greg. I ain't seen you in a minute, but shout out to you. Also, thank you, BGS More. Appreciate that. Louis Conyer, Indigo Flow, Jay Miles, Passport OG, Dar, Adrian Capoy, Damian H, PK Angel, man. Thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I know I haven't been here for a while. Man, it's just adjusting, man, to my environment at the current moment, man. It's a lot of shit going on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of shit going on. So,
yeah, the Lou is something else, man. That's what I'm hearing.
So I mean, when I first came here, I didn't have any hot water because the gas, they fucked up the gas lines. They had leaks in them because they didn't operate the pipes, contract and expand. And if you don't use them appropriately and keep them in, in operating condition, then things happen. So I had to get that shit fixed. That costs a lot of bread, man. And then, right now I'm using space heaters. I ain't even fixed the furnace yet. That shit gonna cost some bread to get fixed. You know what I'm saying? So I'm working towards getting that shit fixed. And it's just a lot going on, man. Like the stove I had, that they fucked. I mean, I had 2 stoves, 2 refrigerators working upstairs, downstairs. I mean, everything was in operational condition. Man, they fucked this crib up, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but I gotta stake it out. Otherwise, they'll come in here and strip this motherfucker down. That's what they do in the Lou. They'll take your copper, the radiators, the clawfoot tubs out your shit. They'll take everything out of your crib. You know what I'm saying? They'll take everything out of this shit, and you won't have nothing left. So I'm glad that people did occupy it, even though they didn't maintain it. It is what it is. And I had some legal issues, so I couldn't move back and forth like I wanted to, like I was able to initially. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. But
ain't no place like home, right?
Yeah, well, shit. I ain't got to pay no rent in this motherfucker. I just got to get it right. People been offering to sell, buy it and want me to sell it. I'm like, man, fuck that. I'm not selling this shit. I'm gonna fix it up. Try to Section 8 this bitch real quick. Get it up to code. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I love the hood. What I'm hoping will happen, I know it sounds fucked up, but I hope this shit goes through some gentrification or some bullshit like this. This neighborhood, man, if you, I'm gonna do a video of me walking through this neighborhood or riding a bike through it real slow so you can kind of see what the fuck this place looks like. No city other than Detroit or maybe Memphis have I ever seen that looks anything, maybe Baltimore. That looks and I don't even think Baltimore looks anything like this.
No, not like that. Nah, probably not. More like Detroit.
And Detroit don't look like that no more.
No, probably not. Yeah,
not no more. I mean, it's probably pockets and places, or maybe like after Katrina, certain parts of New Orleans. But shit, ain't no hurricane hit this motherfucker. No floods. It's just people disinvesting in this area because of racial reasons. That's all it is.
Yeah. At some point, we're gonna have to turn that around, man.
So I'm thinking about some initiatives that could be utilized to try to make people use their self-interest to try to ameliorate the condition of this hood. I thought about, well, like, if the city is sitting on property and they're not developing it, why don't you create like some sort of initiative where people can invest in it through labor or something? Or like, like if they fix it up, then, they become part, they revenue share in the profits of the house by means of, or sharing the profit with it with the city. I don't know. I'm just brainstorming about shit, but leaving this the way it is not the move, man.
Yeah.
So, But anyway, man, BGS, man, I appreciate you. I'll be on tomorrow.
Okay.
But I'll, open up.
Yeah, I'll be talking about what me and Dr. T were actually talking about the Sedanius and the portion of his SGT. Okay. I'll be doing that tomorrow. So what are you gonna be doing tomorrow?
Whatever. When y'all get through is when I'll start. But but what I want to do is just read some philosophy. Motherfuckers say they want me to do some philosophy.
All right.
They want to see what I think philosophically.
Okay.
I'm gonna read my work.
Okay.
And it ain't gonna be. It ain't for the timid.
because you're an Epicurean, right?
No, I'm not really an Epicurean. I am. Metaphysically, I'm a anti-realist instrumentalist.
Okay.
I'm a deliberative democratic theorist politically.
Uh-huh.
And ethically, I'm a don't fuck with me, I won't fuck with you type dude.
Because I'm a structural realist, and a political agnostic. So.
Yeah, I'm a deliberative democratic theorist, and I'm an anti-realist instrumentalist. Okay. I know that sounds like a lot of crazy shit, but I have to explain it to you, man.
Yeah. You got to explain anti-realism to me, so at some point. Maybe. Yeah,
but you're a structural realist though, so but I'm not. Okay, yeah. So we probably have divergent viewpoints about ontology and metaphysics, but
yeah,
if I briefly had to explain it, I would say this.
Yeah.
That epistemologically, human beings don't have access to absolute reality as it objectively is.
True.
So science, at best, gives you insight into how to function in the world and to utilize it as a resource, to benefit you. But to say that, control over certain aspects of the world, give you insight deep down into reality, I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
So that's why I say instrumentally science is great.
Mm-hmm.
And I think science is nothing more than metaphysics and epistemology conjoined together. That's all it is.
It is, yes, it is.
And so I say that, even though you can't get into the bowels and the entrails of what reality is all the way through and through because you're limited, your senses can only give you so much. Okay, and you're hardwired in such a way that you'll never be able to dig into everything. I mean, so we can know a little bit about the world. We can't know everything about it. We're not God. So I'm an anti-realist. I don't think science gives us an accurate portrayal.
Science is our best guess.
It's a tool.
Yeah.
It's a heuristic.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the most it ever can be. So, but that's why I'm an anti-realist. I'm not saying there isn't anything real out there. I'm just saying you don't have access to it.
No, you can't.
So yeah, that's all I'm saying. All right. So anyway, man, having said all that,
we can hear it tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes, sir, man. I'm gonna talk to him for a brief period, man, and I don't want to overload him like Rakim overloading the microphone with wise words being spoken. Too many at one time. Watch the mic start smoking. I don't want to smoke them out.
Well, they have to nibble at it, man. You go ahead and give it to them raw, man.
Yeah, I'm giving it to them raw. They're gonna have to. I'm not force feeding them. Like you say, you want to. Somebody said he wanted to see it, so I'm gonna force feed you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna. The kiddie wheels is coming off, man. I'm not holding your hand. I'm not explaining. I'm not defining terms. I'm not going to take breaks and pauses to try to explain and flesh out ideas. No. You say you want it, I'm going to give it to you. So,
yeah.
All right. Every now and then you got to, show them your skills. So anyway, man, appreciate all the brothers out there, man, and sisters and whoever else, man, donated some bread, man, some little dust. Appreciate that. Godspeed, man. I'll holler at y'all on the next one, man.
All right.
Yes, sir.